Welcome to Arcade Couch, the best place to chill with friends and get gaming goodness every Monday. My name's John Blight. Joining me on the couch this week, Ashley Hobley.
Hey John, excited to be here, but equally excited to have this year end. No, 2020, am I right?
Yeah, you know, I'm looking forward to those clocks ticking over. Corona just magically disappears, and
yeah, it's like when the clock strikes midnight, all the bad shit that stops. Racism, homophobia, transphobia, all gone.
Everything bad.
That's how it works.
I mean, I think
it's
that's
always
just like
darkest
a pet
before
peeve.
the dawn.
As you approach the end of the year, people are always like, "Oh well, at least the year will be over soon."
Next year will be better. Do you know? Next year, fast food won't make you fat. It's going to be great. You know.
I think that's high on the list of
magic requests.
Requests, yeah. Things that need to be fixed, yeah.
It's like, yeah, that then coronavirus vaccine, then everything else. Yeah, you know.
Today on the show, kind of just gonna run through. I was originally gonna go through and just grab like the proper sources for like what I was, I was gonna do like a Google trend search for the biggest entertainment stories or something, or try and do something like that. But then what I ended up doing was just going through the list of every episode of Arcade Couch and going, you know what, we do this show every fucking week. Surely we've talked about the biggest stories in gaming throughout the year. So I've just kind of. You would hope so, yeah, if we're doing a bad job at this podcast, but we haven't. So I've kind of just grabbed the standout episodes throughout the year, and I've kind of just got a list of things that have happened throughout the year. Of course, all gaming related or adjacent that we talked about on Arcade Couch, and kind of just going to run through that. Some of the stuff you may have forgot had happened, or some of the stuff may just touch on to be like, hey, that's a thing that forgot about, or some weird stuff like that, or wonder when we'll get a new update about that. And then at the end I have a GameSpot list, put up a top 20 biggest games to look forward to in 2021. I figured that was a better route to go. Last year I grabbed like 1 million, and I think I was the only person who cared about half of them, so I was like, maybe I'll just get this 20 biggest games list from GameSpot, and we'll go with that and see what we both think about them. One little piece of housekeeping, I guess, before we get into it. Next week's episode of Arcade Couch is the last one before we take a couple weeks off. I'm sure you'll all survive. It's fine. But next week's episode will be our...
I don't know. There's like no other video game podcast that'll be available in that small frame of time. We're not.
I think most people have already taken time off. Like all the big gaming podcasts are either just
I think that's what happens.
Wrapping up their best of.
Any ones that were taking a break already took a break, so we're filling in the void for them.
And then they
during
do it
that
for
period,
us.
so they'll fill the void.
Yeah, switchies. I feel like I nearly don't learn every year, because even this year I'm like, wow, because it's kind of like you're going along in the car and then suddenly you just fucking fall into a giant ditch, and you're like, what's in here? And it yells back, nothing. It's the end of the fucking year. Nothing's happening. You're like, fine, I was going to do evergreen topics anyway. All right. Anyway. All right. So let's run through the official Special Network list of the biggest gaming news stories from 2020, as decided by things we talked about on Arcade Couch.
What we talked about on Arcade Couch this year.
Yeah, you love it. First thing, I found it quite funny that fittingly the first episode back for this year was titled What We Played on our Holidays or something like that. And fucking 2021's first episode back might be exactly the same. But the first episode after that, where it wasn't like just talking about what we played in a couple weeks away from the podcast, the episode was titled glitched on me. Is delaying games a good thing? Was the title of the first proper episode of 2020, in which we discuss.
I think I think now here at the end of 2020, we can definitively say yes.
Well, can you? I mean, there's so many nuances. So the episode description was, with all the talk about game delays being good for less crunch culture development time for devs, Dylan, Ash, and Kieran discussed the truth in that, if there is any. So this is all brought out. I think they're based on a Kotaku article about
based on
games delays cause more crunch.
Cyberpunk and the Avengers both getting delayed.
It's like, let's talk about Cyberpunk getting delayed, and then the fact that if Cyberpunk is delayed, that doesn't actually mean that they're going to be doing less crunch. So it's oddly, I mean, it's not really funny because it's a serious thing, but it's interesting that the first episode of the year was literally talking about Cyberpunk crunch, Cyberpunk delays, etc. And that was just such a through line for the remainder of the year. So that's quite interesting. Next big thing I wanted to pin here. I don't know what pinfall. No, page turn. I don't know whatever. Was Dan Hauser left Rockstar Games in February. This is I think at the time was a lot bigger than, you know, put into the scheme of everything else that happened in 2020, maybe not, but it was still a rather shocking big piece of news when it happened in February. And I mean, maybe in another year it may have been a bit more eventful for what would have transpired nonetheless. But in case you forgot, Dan Hauser has left Rockstar. He did leave. He'd been gone for some time, then he announced he was finally leaving. And we still don't know what exactly happened there, and if that Daniel Craig movie will ever get a sequel to let us know the truth of everything that happened. But nonetheless, Eli Roth announced that he was doing a Borderlands movie back in late February. So this is one of those pieces of news that, as I was scrolling through, I was like, oh yeah, that's right. Completely forgot about that amongst the mixes of stuff that had happened throughout the year. And I guess it's been a weird year for video game related movies, because there's been some good stuff, there's been some bad stuff, there's been some it's just tumultuous. There's a little bit of everything. And the fact that there was an Eli Roth Borderlands movie that we kind of all forgot about, we haven't heard about either.
That's not true. So back in, what was it, May, they announced that Cate Blanchett is going to come on and play Lilith, one of the main characters of Borderlands. So that was the thing. And then just this past week, it was reported. Well, the article is from the 16th, so maybe a bit more than a week.
Either way, I didn't see it. So.
They're apparently in talks with Kevin Hart to play the role of Roland, a former Crimson Lance member and veteran fighter.
Yes, I know that character, I believe. I think he's taller in the game.
Probably. Yeah. I don't think as solid as he is in the Jumanji films, I don't think Kevin Hart for action film.
No.
Really.
Not for a... I mean, it's weird to call a Borderlands film a serious film, but I guess, like, Borderlands is... I don't know. Like, it's not... Like, it is... It's...
You would think it is serious? Maybe witty?
Yeah.
Or
but it's not a comedy.
Jokey? But,
no.
yeah.
Like...
So...
The universe has funny characters, but the actual world of Borderlands is a serious world. So, yeah, I don't know about that one. There.
Yep.
We spent a lot of February, March umming and ahhing about the potential cancellation of E3, which was kind of funny to look through at the episode highlights, and even doing an episode titled "Can E3 Survive?" Not doing a show in 2020. We did that episode.
Well, now that we're here at the end of the year, do you think we're going to get E3 2021?
Yeah, well, that is the... I really feel like by now they would have had to somewhat decide, you know? Like, because when you put it into perspective...
I'm pretty sure it's like they announced it from memory.
They did.
That it was happening.
They did.
It's just, they still have plenty of time to pull out, though.
I mean, really, it's like 6 months when you put it into perspective. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, when you actually put it into perspective, the fact that it's only 6 months to E3, it seems like it's around the corner. We're at the end of this year, and it's like, oh, there's 6 months to E3 2021. I think at the moment, I don't know, it's hard to tell. COVID's a weird thing. Still don't really, the people who need the vaccine aren't getting it.
Well, they didn't cancel E3 till March. So, we've still got a few more months before.
But I mean, to be fair, March 2020, there was still a lot of, be it part of the media, be it part of the general messaging. March was all still a lot like, oh, like, this might pass. Or like the news is telling me not to worry, or you know what I mean? Like it was a very different world. Whereas March 2021, it's got to be like, well, this many hundred thousands of people have died now, so you can't really not take it seriously. So I don't know.
I'm going to say it's going to happen.
You reckon? Wow.
Yeah.
See,
one, because they need it to happen, and two, I feel like it's obviously an interesting year that we've had with a lot of online events, but I feel like people are still going to be clamoring for that big E3.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to say this.
Especially first year after new consoles,
E3.
I don't think it's going to be the exact same as previous year. It's probably going to be scaled down a fair bit, but it'll happen.
I really don't know, because I'm gonna say this right now. PAX 2021 Australia is going to happen, because we got that shit a little bit better now, apart from some people in Sydney fucking it up for everyone at the moment. But other than that, I'll put money down to say we're going to get PAX. E3 in America, don't feel as quite that. That's like a big ass
with Americans.
That's just
you got to remember they're Americans running it. So
I really don't know at the moment. It's kind of hard to say, but it's one of those things. Again, when you put it into perspective, you're like, fuck. This 6 months away. Like planning a big show like that, they would really have to be thinking about this soon. Like what are they going to do? So I feel like when they canceled it in March, that was really pushing how far you could wait to cancel or prepare for a show. I feel like they would have to make their decision like earlier next time, so like February. I feel like we'd have to know in a couple months. That's what I'm going to say. We had our first, I pointed out, as like, just to put it into perspective, I don't know how 2021 is going to go, but like for the first couple months of 2020, we didn't really talk about many big new releases. There really wasn't that much coming out for the start of the year. And I think at the time, I think a lot of us took it as, oh, it's the year of the new console, so it's just going to be a little bit weird for games and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But like, looking through the show notes, I just found it funny that on March 31st, the episode titled Resident Evil 3 Remake Review, that on that same episode, so Kieran's talking about Resident Evil 3, I'm talking about Doom Eternal, Persona 5 Royal. It was really like, okay, the games have started now, but late March is when they started. Like it wasn't, like it's funny to think about how much time I had at the start of the year. Maybe that's why I was playing so much shit like Titanfall 2 and Tomb Raider and Metro and all this other stuff, like starting that whole pile of shame series at the start of the year. So I don't think it's going to happen next year.
I don't know. There isn't a lot in the first month or two. I'm sure we'll get to it towards the end of the episode when we talk about games coming out next year, but
but
there's
late
like
March?
not much there that really. Unless things change.
Yeah, I don't know. So of course, when we got to call out the fact that Animal Crossing New Horizons, of course, was, love it or hate the game, it definitely was the game that took the world by storm. In March or early April when it released and everyone was going into lockdown, whatever else. It is really, you really cannot separate Animal Crossing New Horizon from COVID, I don't think. Like, as weird as that is
It
to
was
say.
the game of the pandemic.
Like, as weird as that is to say, it really is the game of the pandemic, because I remember when it, because that was when people were finally like, okay, fuck, we're in lockdown
I'm stuck at home.
We're stuck at home for a little while now. This is when people were starting to kind of accept the lockdown, and people were asking for Nintendo to release Animal Crossing early to help them ease the pain, and that's when they thought they'd be locked away for like a month tops, and everything would be fine. Like,
oh yeah, and this is the period where games were getting like breaking street date by like a fair margin here in Australia, at least. We didn't even mention Final Fantasy VII Remake was a bunch of those games. Like,
some words.
I feel like it was around that time. Yeah. So, yeah, crazy times.
It's weird times. It's weird.
Remember back when?
That's the thing. Like, if I had to pick, if I was doing a like top 5 ranking of like the news stories that rocked the gaming world, I guess, or something like that for 2020, you would have to just put COVID as number 1, because that's just COVID's going to be number 1 story in any industry or whatever you're talking about. I feel like for good or bad. Like, it's bad, but like, what do you want to call, like, not good and bad, but for it's up top because there's no way to play around it. Like,
because
it affects the release dates. It affected the way people took in games like Animal Crossing and like the way people play games. It affected things like, would Among Us have taken off in a world without COVID? You know what I mean? Like, that's something you can't help but wonder. Like, would that game have actually, in any other year, would that game have seen a resurgence if people weren't in COVID at home playing? And then like the development of teams having to be stuck at home, so it's, if I was picking number 1, it would have to be COVID, which sounds weird. That's what I'm saying. Like, it sounds weird to pick COVID as the winner for something, but Assassin's Creed Valhalla was revealed in early May, which I kind of forgot until scrolling through this. I was like, oh yeah, forgot about when we were sitting here watching the Boss Logic do that whole painting thing or whatever it was, and then they did the release trailer the week later or whatever it was. But it seems so long ago, and now
it was.
I've only just started playing it this past week, so
weeks,
it feels like years ago it got announced, but finally playing it. There you go, Vikings, everyone loves it. Then we got in late May was when we finally started getting into our first look at next gen stuff. Late May is when Xbox did their first Inside Xbox event. This one was focused on the third party stuff. So this is the one where, for people who
we got Valhalla gameplay, right?
Yeah, Valhalla gameplay. That's right. Yeah, all the sweeping shots of scenery and whatever else. It's funny to look back on this whole year and like the next gen consoles, because I feel like now that we've had them for over a month, and like, do you not just feel like it's normal now? You know what I mean? Like, it's just you turn it on, you're like, this is my console now. It's not to say it's lost its excitement, because like, I'm still excited for the games to come for it, but of course we're past that stage of being excited about the box itself. And given we spent so much of the year, like, and I mean, that's part of the fun. That's part of the, thing, we spent so much of the year like delving over all the little details, little leaks, all the little rumors. Xbox was like dribbling out little bits of information. PlayStation was giving us fucking nothing. Like, it's just, it's funny to put into context. Like, the fact we had that Mark Cerny thing in the middle of the year where he did that weird, the GDC presentation. Meanwhile, Xbox was showing off games, but not showing off first party games, but also not really showing what their box looked like yet. Like, it was a weird, among other things for this year, I think I'll always be remembered because I definitely don't recall the last console news cycle being as weird as this one was, especially in this year. Like, it was just so much of holding your card so close to your chest until someone literally pried one out and was like, aha, here, you have this many teraflops. It's weird, yeah. Epic, I nearly forgot about this one. So Epic unveiled Unreal Engine 5 in May.
That's right.
They did that whole event. They did that the demo where they showed off the I don't even call it, like this female character or whatever,
Cairo,
like walking around
ruins.
Yeah, ruins like a Lara Croft type
jumping.
thing. Yeah. Highly detailed.
Was it jumping or flying away?
Something, I can't remember. Highly detailed scenery and all this sort of stuff. It's kind of cool to bring up because, of course, even though we have the new consoles, I think we said when we talked about this at the time, it's like you're not going to see the Exodus labor or whatever the thing is.
Well, it's not even out yet.
Yeah,
So
it's like I think it's early next year or something like that. People can start.
Oh no, Stab released May 2020,
Okay.
but I don't know when it'll be released to the
public,
general public.
It's one of those things where they showed off. They're like, here's
Late 2021.
Here's the future of gaming. Unreal Engine 5. Look forward to seeing games on it 2 to 3 years at earliest. I don't know, but it's cool. On May 25th, we did an episode titled "What is Fortnite?" ? And I feel like nothing has changed.
Good question.
I feel like, in fact, I feel like I could have nearly titled an episode the other week, "What is Fortnite?" and it would have stayed up. It's so funny.
That was.
I was talking about fucking Mandalorian
What was specific about that?
For this one, what was specific?
No,
it's about the music concerts and stuff. The description for the episode is, with Fortnite now hosting in-game concerts, music videos, and trailer reveals, what is Fortnite? Is it a game? Is it a pop culture service? We discuss and try to decide where the game will be in a year or two's time. I feel like we couldn't have even picked where it would be in 6 months.
No, yeah. That was when the Tenet trailer premiered in Fortnite. So...
Oh, it was like the Tenet trailer.
Yeah.
And the...
Then not long after that was the Travis Scott.
Around the same time. It was the Travis Scott concert. Yeah. So it was like all this stuff. And then it was like, what the fuck is Fortnite? And then
they put every single character ever in the game since.
And now it's just like a Smash Brothers variation of a Battle Royale. So that's an evergreen title, really. What the fuck is Fortnite? In June, we laid out the facts of the first PS5 versus Xbox Series X information. That's when we got our hands-on, well, not hands-on, our eyes on like all the numbers that everyone was trying to break down and sound like they were super clever and whatever else about. Also, shout out in the show notes. We didn't mean anything. Just like everyone else was trying to sound smart, I'm sure. The other thing that stood out to me in the show notes for this one was League of Legends Wild Rift gameplay was also discussed in this show. That's out now, finally, by the way. Shout outs to that. Don't want to go deep on it because
we'll do it later. Yeah, maybe.
But I will say, have been playing it. It's very good. I actually saw someone, I can't remember who wrote it, so I can't give them a proper shout out. But someone had an article somewhere titled something like League of Legends Wild Rift is a better remake than the Demon Souls remake of 20, is the best remake and better than Demon Souls, or it was something along those lines. And I was like, it made me kind of sit back in my chair and go, maybe. Like, maybe you're right. I like, who am I to argue? Because, League of Legends Wild Rift.
It was, I'm guessing it was Fergus Halliday over at Biteside articles, Demon Souls. No, League of Legends Wild Rift is the best remake.
That sounds about right. Yeah, there you go. That one. So shout outs to Biteside. Great, good article. Go read that. But I was like, you know what? You might be fucking right, because that League of Legends Wild Rift for a mobile game, and I hate to use those words in a sentence, like for a mobile game, for a mobile game. But I mean, it's more for a game you play on your phone. It is disgusting how much of the core League of Legends experience that they promised in the reveal. And I completely took them at half troops when they revealed it, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's going to be the full League of Legends experience in the palm of your hand." And I was like, "That ain't going to work, You have to click a million buttons on your keyboard and it uses a mouse. How the fuck are you going to play that in the touchscreen? And then they release it and I'm like, fool me once. Right, I'm excited for the PS5 release. Because...
Yeah, so you're confident that a console version will work.
Yeah, I am now because I can picture exactly how... I couldn't picture how keyboard and mouse went to touchscreen, but I can easily understand how the touchscreen goes to using analog sticks, if that makes sense. Because basically there's the on-screen analog sticks anyway. You know what I mean? Like when you're using the touchscreen. Like, because you have to like drag your character, like hold down an analog stick on the screen to move your character basically. So I'm like, okay, that's how you move your character. Right, analog sticks how you aim your abilities and stuff. And I'm like, cool. Yep, I'm all about it. I'm going to be playing League of Legends, Wild Rift, PS5. Looking forward to it. I'm very keen for that now. It's fun on my phone. I'll be great if they announce that the mobile stats carry over. That'll be great. Maybe if they can announce there's a platinum coming, I'll start playing it more on my phone so I can pop that platinum.
Transfer the save.
So I can transfer over my details or whatever. So yeah. What was I up to? Valorant was released in early June. That game actually seems like it came out well over a year ago to me, but nonetheless, Valorant did come out in June. We did a whole big discussion, of course, with Kieran, and was about, it's ripping off CSGO, blah, 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 blah. And I remember that was the general internet buzz. Oh, it's ripping off CSGO. You know what? 6 months later, no one gives a fuck. Everyone's like, Valorant's great now. I'm like, okay.
Yep, people still playing Valorant, people still playing CSGO.
Everyone went back to their corners of the internet. So on June 15th, had an episode called E3 2020 is Crazy, which is a funny thing because we had that episode we're talking about, they're going to cancel E3. They canceled E3. But they canceled E3 and in its place, everyone went, I'm doing a live stream event showing off indie games. Yep. I too am doing a live stream event showing off indie games. Oh, that's funny because I am doing an indie game event showing off indie games. I swear the amount of nights I was up watching these fucking events, I was up more this year watching the Guerrilla Collective, PC Gaming Show, Future Gaming Show, and whatever the fuck else than I would have been if they had have just been a normal E3 schedule. So it's like they cancelled E3 and everyone was like, whew, they can spread out the news more. And then, nope. They put out all their shows. So, I mean, it was a lot to intake, but I gotta be honest, it was kind of, they were fun. Like they were good shows.
Yeah, they were fun.
For the most part.
Dylan, what was the best thing announced?
From all of those shows? Oh man, I don't know. That's a hard question.
What was anything announced?
Hold on, I'll find the title. I'll find the name of the game. I know the game in my head.
No, off the top of your head.
It's from those people that made hold on, I'm gonna find the name. I'm just gonna scroll here till I find the name so I remember it. Fucking
the point I'm trying to make is for all their announcements there was barely anything.
Well, because there was no AAA, there was all indie stuff. So
that's true.
But like if I'm scrolling through, like I haven't found what I'm looking for yet. But like for example, let me scroll down. I'm scrolling down the Future Game Show because that's where I know they showed off the one I want to find. So in this, for example, they had Ghost Runner, Collar at Sea, that Sherlock Holmes game was announced. Chris Tales was showing up some more there. Like there's stuff in here. Skater XL was showing up. There's a bunch of stuff in here. Just none of it was mind blowing AAA. They announced the next Batman game, which of course we'll get to in a little bit. But Remothered Broken Porcelain was here. Road Company was announced. Disintegration was coming out around this time. Paradise. The fuck Kenna was in here until they delayed all that and all that stuff. I can't find the game I was looking for. Anyway, that's a bit disappointing. But I think the other problem was they crossed over so many of the fucking games. Like, I'd be watching Guerrilla Collective, and then they would announce a game, and then they'd be showing it off in one of the other shows, like, later the next day or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, you'd see the same game in several places, and you're like, fuck, just... Like, I understand you want to get in front of many people's eyes, but for the people who were watching all these shows, it's like, oh, come on, fuck on. But, and in a lot of ways, it did feel like attending, for good and bad, staying up watching all the shows did feel like attending a PAX or something, because it was just a fuck ton of indie games thrown at your face. And the good and bad of that is you go, oh, like if any of those games pop up again, I go, oh yeah, that's the game that was at like Guerrilla Collective or whatever. Like I know it when I see it, but because so many are thrown in my face, like walking away from PAX, you can only like remember a couple off the top of your head usually, you know, even though you probably played way more. And you're like, I can't remember. There was this game, you did this thing. Can't remember its name. Anyway, E3 was weird this year because it didn't exist, but we got it anyway. EA Play happened in a couple weeks after that, and I, for some reason, forgot until I scrolled past this, but they announced a new skate there. I completely forgot about that, so I just want to shout that out, that we did get an announcement of a new skate. It's probably still years away, but just wanted to remind everyone about that because that's some good news. Mid-June.
How are you not talking about the other big thing that was announced that week?
What was announced that week? The same show?
New Pokemon Snap.
Oh yeah, Pokemon Snap. Yeah, but then I got Bug Snacks.
On the same episode.
It's like oranges for apples or something. Right. I don't know. Yeah, well, I'm going to play that too, but Bug Snaps is like, quelled the hype on that one. Come on. The next week, I wanted to call out this episode because I thought this was funny. We did a whole episode because you and Kieran got into this fucking argument over these.
That doesn't sound like us.
You got into the argument over this goddamn what do you want to call it? Like all these Night City wires, because you were going on about how Cyberpunk was CD Projekt Red was overhyping their own game, and you know all this sort of stuff.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
You guys were so excited about all that Mindscape stuff, you know. That turned out so well.
I'd like to say, I don't feel like I was ever very excited for Cyberpunk. I tried to be moderately interested for the sake of...
Go back and listen.
I don't think you could find an episode where I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'm excited for Cyberpunk.
You were defending that
I
gameplay
was defending
show.
And I will still defend that they did not overhype. Their job is to hype up their own shows. Like, everyone should hype up their own show. That's what I'm defending. Like, if I develop...
What I said was that was a boring thing to show during one of these.
Well, I mean, that's a...
And it was.
You can say it's boring, but I'm saying, like, you can't really overhype a show. Like, if you're just a developer showing off your game, I feel like it's your job to hype up your own show, right? And if you're not hyping up your own show, then what the fuck are you doing? Like, you're doing it wrong. You gotta hype people up. Or else who the fuck's going to watch these things? Come on now. In July, I feel like this is another, like if I'm ranking in my head like top 5 like big things gaming story wise 2020, I feel like, so in July Ubisoft did the whole Ubi Forward event, but also around that same time was when a whole bunch of sexual abuse and other stuff came about
came to light.
Came to light, yeah, from within Ubisoft. And of course, you know, over the months that have been throughout 2020, a bunch of people have been let go or magically quit after their names got thrown out or whatever else. I would rank this as one of the biggest, I feel like, because I feel like this is something that's still going to carry on through to 2021 to affect Ubisoft, like, and I also think this is just like one of those stories of a bigger part of the industry, I guess, growing up a little bit and like not like with like trying to get rid of the bad, I guess, to a degree. So, I mean, I still feel like there's a lot more to come from this in 2021 because there's still a lot. In my opinion, Ubisoft still didn't handle the whole situation very well. Of course, the fact that they never said anything during the first show, and then in the last one they did a couple months ago, they were like, "Oh, we can't edit in something because time." And even I always remember that one because even Jeff Keighley, that's the moment that stood out to me. Even fucking Jeff Sweden, I want to be friends with everyone, Keighley, replied and was like, "Really, guys?" I'm like, "Fuck! If you've got Jeff Keighley Like, go. If you've annoyed Jeff Keighley, you've done it. Then that's when you know you're on the bad side of history. When you annoy Mr. Doritos, the Mountain Dew himself, the guy, like that's when you've done bad. But yeah,
the guy who invites Joseph Fares to his show every year to
fuck the Oscars. Yeah. Ghost of Tsushima released in mid-July. I wrote down here and we all played and enjoyed it, which I feel like is just me having a swipe at Cyberpunk, but fuck it, I am. Like, it's just so funny because I feel like honestly, Ghost of Tsushima is the only big game that released this year that everyone universally either loved or was like, yeah, that was good. Like, I don't feel like no one hated it. No one hated Sucker Punch. No one at Sucker Punch was like, I was abused making this game. You know what I mean? There was no negative stories.
No. There was some people who were like, it's a bit generic.
Yeah, but I mean, like, what did I give it? I gave it like
nothing.
I gave it like a 7.5 or whatever, which to some people is like a terrible score.
Low.
But even 7.5 in my book says Dylan 7.5. I thought it was a good game. It was above average. It was a very good game. It was nearly a great game in my scoring, I guess. But like, so I liked it. You loved it more than I did. Kieran loved it. Everyone we know loved it. Everyone on the internet see talk about it. You know, you tell me, was there any other game that even got close to Ghost of Tsushima? It was just being universally
Animal Crossing.
I guess so, yeah. Animal Crossing would have to be the only other one, I guess. Yeah.
Hades.
I feel like Hades is a different story because I feel like Hades has...
It's not like a AAA studio game.
Well, A, it's an indie game, and then B, Hades has this whole thing where people who had it since early access were like, yeah, it's good. And then there's still people on my Twitter who are like, I got Hades on my Switch because I got Switch at Christmas, brought Hades. Wow, really surprised how good this is. You know, like I'm still seeing people be like, oh wow, this game's good. Like it wasn't like AAA, everyone brought it at release day, everyone loved it. But yeah, Ghost of Tsushima, really good game. When you think back on it, you're like, wow, that was a good game. Glad everyone got along and liked that. That game. That was a fun time where the internet wasn't on fire about a game. That was good shit. What are we up to fucking here? In July, Xbox finally showcased their first party stuff in the now sort of infamous event where they ended or started. No. Did it end or start with Halo? I don't even remember now. Hey.
They started with
Halo. And then everyone tore that footage to shreds. And then, of course, they delayed Halo until 2021. But also worth shouting out from the same event, well, in case people forgot, but they did also announce like a Fable in there, which I feel like is something that people may have forgot about, which I think is
Fable by
pretty massive deal.
Fable by the Horizon people.
Yeah. Can't remember the developer name, but that's fine. That's Playground games or something like that.
That sounds right.
Something like that. I can't remember. That's something I feel like people kind of keep forgetting about. But there's a new Fable on the way. It's pretty cool. There's a bunch of actually, if you would like to go skim through the stuff that was announced here, there's a lot of interesting stuff that we still haven't heard about for a while. Of course, including like Stalker was in there and all this other stuff that I was like, holy shit! Like, there you go. So
yeah,
that was a pretty big event.
New Obsidian RPG.
Yeah, that's right.
The big Obsidian RPG that everyone was excited about because they were finally going to bring a fantasy RPG to the Xbox.
Put a pin in that.
No other studio was ever going to release one on the Xbox. That was crazy.
We'll come back to that.
Hellblade 2 they showed.
In August, we did an episode titled Marvel's Avengers Beta Thoughts, where everyone was pretty positive. Even myself was like, yeah, it was all right. Sure, it'll be tightened up when the full release. It's going to be good, this Avengers game. So I just want to put that out there. We'll come back to Avengers because I think I mentioned it a little bit. I'll put another note in here for it, but just putting that one in as a pin. Epic vs. Apple started their crazy war So this
That was in August?
That was in August, I know. And of course, I feel like if we're making the top 5 lists in our heads, biggest gaming stories, this is, of course, I would put this number 2 below COVID, I think. Like in my fictional ranking. You know what I mean? Like of big events, gaming events or whatever, surely this is number 2. You know, like kind of shocking thing. That I mean, we still haven't seen the end of it. They're apparently going to court. There was a court date. I forgot it, but it was like early next year or something like that. If it ever actually happens, it'll probably get postponed, and they'll keep pushing it because no one ever wants to actually go to court. They want to get this shit sorted out prior to any of the courts. But that was in August when Epic released that trailer where it was taking off, parodying the Apple one from the 90s or whatever it was. And it's just been a continuing battle ever since then. So, yeah. What are you Googling there?
What did I see? I saw some people, people got sent free Fortnite packages with like jackets.
Yeah, I think I saw Greg got sent one like a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
I think it was recently. Yeah, I think I saw Greg Miller or someone post that. And that was recent, so
22nd of December is the tweet, so
there you go.
So Epic, if you want, we'd happy to also jump on the free Fortnite bandwagon. If you want to send us one of those packages, just slide into our DMs.
You're gonna wear that
we're in
jacket?
a Fortnite now, so I mean,
yeah, I guess so. I mean, I play Fortnite. I own 1 million Apple products. I don't know whose side I'm on. I can't be on anyone's side. I'm buying all this fucking bullshit. DC and Warner Brothers games finally unveiled not one, but 2 Batman or Batman adjacent games in August, late August, of course, after waiting so long. Was like, what are they going to reveal? And then they unveiled Gotham Knights and Rocksteady's Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, which is coming out 2022. I think in
2021 and 2022.
I think in retrospect, it's kind of a funny thing to look back on because we kept for like the few years Explosion Network's been running, nearly any time we did predictions, someone was saying Rocksteady's game. Rocksteady's game. Like nearly always. And then after all that hype, like we always expected it at a Game Awards or an E3 or something. I think the fact that it was unveiled during a Warner Brothers DC Fandom event, in retrospect, doesn't it feel a little bit like not as big as it?
Anticlimactic?
Yeah,
there were. Well, rumor was they were going to do it at E3 at a Warner Brothers event with the other news games,
including Hogwarts and whatever, I guess.
Yeah.
So,
but that obviously everything got shifted around. So
yeah. We haven't heard anything about Gotham Knights since then, really, have we either? And
I've seen like a couple of like screenshots of like
slivering out information.
They're nothing major.
So they'll have to start getting back on that Gotham Knights train soon though, because they didn't give a solid release date. But I mean, we're about to enter 2021, people. So I feel like they'll have to get back up in news. I wouldn't expect anything about Kill the Justice League for some time though. So already well. Jeff Keighley hosted the Gamescom 2020 show on late August. Was a pretty great show, I thought. It was a look at how the Game Awards would look. I think in retrospect, you can especially look back at that show and go, yes, this was kind of like Game Awards testing grounds, practice, whatever you want to call it. It wasn't quite as big, but it was basically the same technology, and he has that same room set up or whatever. Like, I don't even know what you'd call that. Like, he's got, like whatever that dome thing he's in when he's recording, and he's got these fucking graphics everywhere and all this sort of stuff. So, Jeff Keighley had a year. But actually, shout out to Jeff Keighley, honestly. Like, no sarcasm.
Yeah.
I feel like between the Game Awards was a great show, Gamescom was a great show, but then also he did the, what was it called? Summer Game Fest. That was it. Yeah, Summer Games Fest, which I nearly even forgot about until I just suddenly clicked onto it just then. That was a thing that he announced obviously early into the COVID days and was like, hey, I'm gonna like start doing like all these events, and I'm gonna help cross promote other people's events, and that's how we got revealed Tony Hawk's and Crash Bandicoot and some other things, League of Legends as well.
Yep.
Some Riot Game stuff was all amongst that Summerfest stuff. So yeah, shout out Jeff Kelly. Good on you, Jeff. In September, we did an episode titled
Look, Jeff.
Avengers is actually good. So my question now, Ash, is Avengers one of the most hyped up releases coming into this year, I feel. How do you feel about it now at the end of the year when it's sitting on the shelf? Like, what's Avengers looking like?
It's looking like maybe I'll get back to it.
Really?
I kind of just stopped at some point, maybe it'll run really well on the PS5.
You got to wait for that PS5 release, that the proper...
Maybe. It depends on what other stuff they put out. Obviously, they put their first DLC character out in the last month or so. It
was Hawkeye, wasn't it? Or someone?
No, it was more announcements of a clear... Yeah, it was Kate Bishop, yeah. Yeah, if they've got more of a clear path forward, then maybe this will be the time to jump back in and finish the story at least. But yeah. It just kind of fizzled out, I felt like, for a lot of people. After one of the best openings to a game this year. So.
But as a games of service, I feel like, without even having played it, I feel like the amount of content I saw coming for it wasn't maybe they weren't prepared for what.
They weren't prepared for COVID.
Well, yeah, maybe that's part of it. I don't know.
Work from home, changed schedules and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Don't know.
And then apparently they were working on a big Wakanda update.
All right.
So, and that kind of got pushed because of
understandably
Boseman. So,
Xbox Series S details got leaked in mid-September, which is funny, of course, to think about. It's just to add to how weird the whole console news cycle was, the fact that Xbox and Sony were being so tight-lipped, and then out of nowhere, the Xbox Series S was leaked, the prices were leaked. Xbox was like, oh, fuck. Then they published the information via tweets, and then the full video that was supposed to post within the next couple of days showing us information, that leaked online. I remember I was saying how I watched that, and that was never officially published anywhere, and I was like, wow, the fact Xbox put so much time into that, and I feel like it kind of worked out fine for them in the long run. The fact that information is dropped, and everyone was like, yeah, cool, this looks great, price looks great, good job. I don't know. Pre-orders for both consoles were a complete mess. Of course, that was another highlight, if you want to call it that, of the year. World round, not just Australia. The console pre-orders, PS5 and Xbox Series X, were both complete mess. And then I would say this surely makes it into top 5 biggest news stories of the year as well. Nintendo. Oh, sorry, not fucking Nintendo. Xbox brought Bethesda, which was the only news story so big that this year that we ended up doing a bonus episode of Arcade Couch just to discuss the news, which went for 90 minutes just on the acquisition of Bethesda from Xbox. So, yeah.
Listen, there's still time for it to fall through.
In what way?
They come in and say, no, you can't. You can't buy all these studios at the same time. Or Microsoft goes, oh no, we've run out of money.
I don't know if you buy things it's not like, shop for a TV where you can accidentally overspend. I don't know.
We checked out the studios. You got termites. We're not going to buy the studio anymore.
Yeah, I don't know if that's... I think they're fine. But that's definitely one of the year's biggest left field stories, and we're still yet to fully see through to the end to answer the big questions everyone still has, of course.
And we won't.
For another 2-3 years, year or so probably. But I mean, as much as people like Pete Hines and fucking whoever else, people, what's his face is Xbox, Meant to play here, isn't it?
Green Day.
Yeah, whoever, all those people. Much as they like giving answers to these questions, everyone's still just like, yeah, sure, we'll wait and see if whatever Bethesda's next big game actually, what
We'll see what
consoles
happens.
actually comes to, when the day comes. I wanted to shout out the Crash Bandicoot 4 released in October this year, and even though I wasn't as blown away as everyone else and giving it like fucking 10s and shit, what did they give it, like a 7.5 or something like that, because I'm fucking
Something
love
like
handing
that,
out 7.5s apparently. I just want to shout out the fact that I do think it's worth mentioning that game came out, and the fact that it was getting a 7.5 from me and like high scores from other people or whatever else. It kind of just proved, and I'm hoping we'll see more of this as we head further in the next couple of years, that these franchises that they've begun doing these remakes for, they actually have legs beyond just being remakes. You know what I mean? So I'm hoping for a Spyro 4 or what have you, and even with Tony Hawk's, like everyone loved Tony Hawk's 1 and 2. Could a brand new Tony Hawk's using that old school formula with some new mechanics or whatever thrown in and stuff, will we see that? Maybe. So be interesting. Baldur's Gate 3 released into early access, of course, just a couple months ago. Everyone loves it. Everyone's waiting for it to get some bugs and more content and whatever else. Still supposedly supposed to release maybe in full towards the end of next year. You can hope for that. Maybe it'll be up for Game of the Year award consideration next year. Who knows? And then in mid-October, in case you missed it, we did the massive episode 100, where we did top 25 games of the generation. What was in our list? Can't even remember. According to this picture, Fortnite.
Yeah, go listen to the
Witcher
podcast.
3. Games like that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It was a definitive list, right? Go listen to the podcast. Cyberpunk was delayed in early November for the seventh time. This one was the one that broke the camel's back, though. Like in the news cycle, this was the one where people finally, the gamers have had enough. The gamers were like, "We've had enough to here, so we're going to abuse you on Twitter." This is us spinning it.
So it's your fault.
Sure. It's interesting putting into perspective that this is kind of where I feel like this is the moment that CDPR just, like, their year just kind of went nothing but down from here.
Well, when you think about it, they could have, if they were going to delay it, they could have delayed it by a lot more at this point.
Oh, yeah, but this is when the gamers turned on them.
This was their choice.
That's what I'm saying, like...
I felt like the gamers were turning on them. But, yeah.
Really?
Even though I'm pretty sure specifically I said on this episode, has CD Projekt Red lost their goodwill?
Probably.
After all the crunch stuff and then all the delays, you know? So
I feel like the answer is now definitively yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they have. The medium was refused classification in Australia. We did November 9th.
Damn. Now we'll never get to play the Patricia Clarkson reboot.
But update to the story, it was just this past week that it was announced that the medium was actually got classified in Australia. So now...
Yes! Now everyone will be able to play the Patricia Clarkson reboot.
Wow. That's a joke that hits for like...
She probably gets the most mentions.
But also...
on this podcast,
how many people do you actually think remember that show? Was that show as popular as you think it is? Or
I'm pretty sure it was. It ran for like 6-7 seasons.
I mean, it was actually as popular. Like, I know it was on TV here all the time, but like, was it as popular?
See, it ran for 7 seasons. I feel like it was nominated for a bunch of Emmys.
It wasn't. I know.
Series premiere got 16.3 million viewers.
But how about if I went and asked some like random kid on the street? Would they know what the medium is?
No, they're too young. It finished in 2000.
So it doesn't hold like pop culture, what do you want to call it? Like ripples. You know what I mean? Like we know the medium. We watch the medium. But, like, there's nothing about that show that, like, kind of remains. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, Scrubs memes remain, right? MASH remains forever on repeat. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
These shows have ripples, right? They go, they come, they leave history. What did the medium leave behind other than this joke about?
I mean, didn't need to leave any more.
I guess so. So yeah, update to that. Gonna get to play it next year. Excited. It comes out. I don't know. I think it's on that list. Maybe. Hold on, we'll find out soon. In November, of course, both the Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5 were released. I'd probably put this on my top. Surely that's on the top 5 list. Both consoles releasing.
Yeah.
What would be? So what I have? I think I had 3 stories so far. I think I've finished my list with
COVID.
Yeah, because the last 2 things here are, of course, Game Awards happened, predictions, and then most recently we've been talking about, of course, Cyberpunk release and eventual shitstorm. So I think in my head, I don't know if give me your list. All right, so here's my top 5 in my head. Number 1, COVID. Number 2, Epic Games versus Apple. Number 3, Bethesda. Yeah, number 3, Cyberpunk, shitstorm and release, or whatever you want to call that. Like just Cyberpunk. That's the headline. Number 3, Cyberpunk. Number 4, Bethesda, and then number 5, new consoles. That's my top 5 news story like bubbles of the year. What would you have? You reckon?
I would have COVID, the ongoing story of Cyberpunk, new consoles, Bethesda. The number 5, I don't know. Doesn't matter. Yeah, nothing else really had much staying power, I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot. Like I feel like I could even put like Animal Crossing at number 6. Number 6 on my list.
Yeah, maybe Animal Crossing, the success of Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
Oh no, maybe Last of Us.
You reckon like Last of Us was a big... I feel like...
Yep, the leaks, and then the delay, and then the hate, and the ongoing going fanboy war, and the criticism around that game. Anytime any sort of awards comes up, then you've also got all the crunch stories. So yeah.
Yeah.
Feel like that was a pretty big story.
Yeah. I mean, I have in my top...
That we probably covered
I
more
have
on
in my top 10. I don't know if I have top 5. All right. Let's move into the 2020 preview as brought to you by GameSpot's list of the 20 biggest games.
Wait. We missed the massive story of the last week.
What's the massive story last week?
Listen.
I'm listening.
Have you ever been playing a console and you felt like, man, you know what I could really go for?
Oh, fuck. Here we go.
Some chicken. Yes, they just announced the KFC console or KF console is coming sometime next year, you know, which will have a built-in chicken warmer.
That's how I didn't put this on.
No release date, no price, which is disappointing.
Why,
but,
you going to buy one, are you?
Maybe. You know, KFC, if you want to review, know who to send it to.
This thing sounds stupid with a capital S.
Apparently, it's going to have 4K and 240 frames per second. So it's like a custom PC.
I like how all the new next-gen consoles, they're like putting so much effort. They're like, we need to keep these things cool. We need air-cool solutions. KFC's like, we need a warm tenderloin baby.
No, their solution is this thing is going to make so much heat. We might as well just warm the chicken inside.
Maybe that's what it is. It's not actually.
No, put that heat to good use.
It's not actually any sort of oven. It's
going to have 1 terabyte SSD cards.
We're using our
RTX it's going to be VR ready.
3080 to heat these KFC wings.
You know, be able to play VR games out of this. Crazy.
This thing is not
great
real.
story.
I don't. I don't believe this is the real thing. I know they're telling us it's real.
I think it's going to be like a limited edition thing to only be able to get. They're going to only make like 1,000 or something.
Yeah, if that.
They're going to be worth millions.
They're gonna like send them to a bunch of influencers and then sell like a couple. That's all I can see happening. Yeah. And they're gonna be walking into EB Games. Hello, ma'am, sir. Hello, person. Can I buy and put a pre-order down?
What if it's one per KFC store? Each KFC store gets allocated to one console. It's like $1,000 something.
No fucking way.
The staff wouldn't rip a head.
No fucking way. We'll find out, I guess.
Listen, we'll just wait till we get some real specs before you write it off.
All right. I'll try to leave myself.
Don't give it a fair chance.
I'll try to give it a fair chance.
You're the guy who was super excited about the freaking play date, so...
How dare you compare that to this abomination? That was a unique video game console.
Which one do you care more about, a handle or like a chicken warmer?
Fucking handle. What do I want to care about the fucking chicken warmer for? What the hell's wrong with you? You're talking about the guy who's always complaining, oh, don't eat fucking cheese pretzels while you're gaming. Here, have a fucking greasy ass chicken warmer with your video game console. It is literally the devil incarnate. It's like, it's literally the Antichrist of temptations. Play video games and eat chicken wings. No, don't do that. Don't.
Maybe.
Don't. Did you ever see?
Maybe they got like a greased finger-proof controller.
I just randomly reminded myself of in Grindhouse, Edgar Wright did a trailer. Did you ever see this?
No, I don't think I ever saw the trailer.
Did a trailer
because I don't think you could see Grindhouse anyway.
Yeah, I'm putting on.
He played for like.
I'm putting it on now briefly for the video and audio version.
This house.
Don't. It's just the entire trailer of where they're like, if you feel like entering this dark and gloomy house, don't. And that's it. They just do it like several times over in the trailer. It's like the most silly thing. Yeah.
Okay.
I never saw it until I'm on a completely unrelated tangent at this point, but I never saw it until it's fine. It's like whatever.
Sure.
End of year. People listening.
We're just talking about.
We're talking about
console.
KFC. I owned Grindhouse I think 3 times, and one of the copies I brought was they released a copy of Grindhouse that they were like, "This is the one. This is the fully watch it in one sitting with the trailers put in the proper places where they were if you saw it in the cinema. Copy, take this home and watch it that way." And I was like, "Yes." That's where I will. I think that's the first time I ever saw the trailers because up until that point, the only trailers I think that were included on the Blu-ray bonus features were like the Machete trailer and something like the popular ones, like Hobo with Shotgun or whatever, like that. I think maybe that one or something along those lines. Yeah. Other than that, I was like, oh, let me see the Edgar Wright one. No, hidden it. Grindhouse, well film.
Got too big. Yep. You couldn't afford his fee.
That's true. All right, let's run down.
Royalties.
GameSpot list 20 biggest games to play in 2021 and beyond. And let's rank their list. Let's just go this way. Let's go with old fashioned Explosion Network thumb system. Double thumbs up, one down, double down. Right? For how excited or whatever you are about these releases. First on their list, Cyberpunk 2077 next gen version to be determined 2021 for PS5 and Xbox Series XS. What's your ranking?
Yeah. One up, one down.
One up, one down. Yeah, I mean, I'm at a double down at this stage. I just, maybe I'll play it one day, maybe I won't. end of year, December 2020.
Those are the two options.
Yeah, that's true. End of the year 2020, Dylan is still very much in a state of, I can't ever see myself carrying enough to play it at this stage, but you never say never, I guess so. But at this stage, I'm just giving it a double down.
Yep.
Next game. Deathloop. May 21st, 2021. Of course, Deathloop is the Arcane Studios game. This is the one where like, oh no, it's a timed exclusive. It's coming to PS5. It's also coming to PC, of course. It's kind of like in case you've never seen or somehow never heard about it, Deathloop is kind of like a roguelite in which you're trying to kill like 5 bosses, I think, or something like that. And it seems like you'll, of course, like most roguelites, you'll unlock new powers and these sorts of things, and then they'll help you get further and further. And you basically have to get this run down but then the big shock to the system is there's a spanner in the works that can be controlled, that can, I think is AI, but of course can also be, you can be invaded by other players as an assassin who can like take you out and be a real pain in your fucking ass. Really cool trailers. Has like a
you have to think that that's going to be like an unlockable
to kill someone as
feature to kill someone. So you'd have to be good at the game, and then you'd be able to go kill other people. I don't know. So that's going to be.
Or maybe there's a punishment if you get killed by the.
Or it's like a separate mode.
I don't know. I mean, you can just invade people in Bloodborne and Dark Souls and all that stuff, and fuck their day up.
Yeah.
But I guess unless there's a thing in the game, kind of like those games have. So, for example, in most recently played Demon Souls, if you're in soul form in Demon Souls, you can't get invaded. You can only get invaded if you was in human body form. So I only got invaded like once in the game because I played through the entirety of the game just in soul form. So there was a way to mitigate, protect yourself in a way. Yeah. What's your ranking for Deathloop?
Deathloop, thumbs up.
Double thumbs up? I am double thumbs up as well. It looks really fun, really exciting. Arcane, I love everything Arcane does, even though I haven't played everything that they put out. But I love how inventive they are, of course, with all their power-ups and their abilities. And you only have to play any of the Dishonored games in particular, I guess, to see example of their mix of power-ups and abilities and that sort of stuff. Next game is Elden Ring, to be determined, 2021, PC, PS5, Xbox X/S. I'm just going to read their blurb. Maybe people forgot what Elden Ring is. Since 2019, we haven't seen or heard much about From Software's next Souls-like game, Elden Ring. Though details are still scarce, we know that it's in the vein of Dark Souls, taking place in a fractured, chaotic world with lore written by Game of Thrones creator George R.R. Martin. Recently, we interviewed Xbox head Phil Spencer, who talked about his experience with the game, which gives us hope that it's right on track. Fans of the enduring Souls-like subgenre have been eagerly anticipating new details on the game, but so far, all they have to work off is the initial trailer. We're approaching 2 years since its debut, so perhaps 2021 will be the year for Elden Ring's new debut. I assume this is a double thumbs
No, it's
down
not
for you.
I'm not interested, but I'm saying it's not coming out.
You're saying it's not coming out 2021. Oh. Why? What's the you got a little
George R. R. Martin's still writing it. He's a very busy guy. You know?
I reckon no. I reckon his involvement's a lot less than people like to make it out to be. That's, or I'm hoping it's less than what we like to make it out to be. One or the other. I'm giving this a double thumbs up. Excited to find out more about this because we really know fuck all about it. So would like to learn more for a start. I wouldn't put it past coming out in 2021 because you guys think Sakura was a couple of years ago, and From Software is actually they turn around games pretty fast. Like for example, when they were developing Dark Souls, they had 2 teams when they were doing Dark Souls. 2 plus Bloodborne, I think, or something like that. And then pretty much once they finished Bloodborne or Dark Souls 2 or something like that, the other team like swung around onto Dark Souls 3. And then it was like, then they swung around onto Sekiro. So like they're always, so I can see it. The next game on the list, I don't see it coming out. I'm gonna put this one on. Elder Scrolls 6, to be determined, 2021, PC, PS5, Xbox X Series S, XSS. Bethesda Game Studio producer Todd Howard said after a reveal of Elder Scrolls 6 at E3 2018 that the game was still a long way out, and we haven't heard much about it since then. The quick trailer we saw for TS6 features sweeping shots of the landscape far away from Skyrim's icy tundra or the dense forest of Cyrodiil or Oblivion. Oh, from Oblivion, right, sure. No, this is not coming out in 2021. That's my answer. My excitement, if it was coming out, 1 up, 1 down. Is what I'd be on this one.
I'd give it double thumbs up if it came out, but it's not coming out.
I feel like I'm at 1 up, 1 down just because Bethesda of recent.
No, listen. This year we'll find out what the subtitle is.
Well, it has to be like a. I'm not a Elder Scrolls aficionado, so I may be speaking out of my ass here, but have they ever officially like mapped out the entirety of the Elder Scrolls world?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? So it could.
I'm going to say no.
Okay, so it could be a.
Imagine if it was like on the other side of the planet. It's completely like another race or completely different fantasy type.
That'd be weird, but because I don't know. Because Elder Scrolls Online, they keep like adding new regions and stuff, and I'm like,
that's true.
Have you just?
Surely there's a big enough map on that to guess.
Like, have we mapped out entire globe? I don't know. Everwild is the next game. In recent years, developer Rare has seen something of a creative renaissance with the rising popularity of Sea of Thieves and its new updates, but their new IP Everwild, revealed in 2019, the developer focus falls on exploring a world inspired by high fantasy fiction in a similar vein to Sea of Thieves. Players can team up with others online or explore on their own in a world where they'll interact and tame wild creatures and expand their resources to explore the further reaches in the fantasy world. The debut trailer offered a brief glimpse of the characters you'll encounter and the world you'll be looking at exploring. I can't even remember seeing this at all until the stream they did in the middle of the year. Like I can't recall seeing it prior to that, but apparently.
Pretty sure that's what they announced it.
Okay,
so.
Maybe that explains it though. How do you feel about Everwild?
Yeah, looks good. I guess I give it 2 thumbs up. But yeah.
I give it 1 up, 1 down. Like pretty trailer.
It looks pretty, but what are you actually doing?
Like other than them saying you're doing stuff with other players, maybe possibly, like I haven't actually seen, so I give it 1 up, 1 down. I like the way they've turned Sea of Thieves around, but I would hope that also possibly means that their launch of the new game wouldn't be as content lacking, I guess. Is like a lot of people complain Sea of Thieves was at launch or something like that. Yeah. Fable, to be determined, 2021 PC, Xbox XS. The original Fable Trilogy was a popular action RPG series that showed that your actions, no matter how small, can indeed have harsh and unintended consequences. As one of Microsoft's key first-party franchises, Fable garnered a faithful following within the Xbox community, and there's been an outcry for a new entry for some time. After the unfortunate cancellation of the spin-off game Fable Legends, the series was effectively put on ice until a new entry was announced from Playground Games. That's the team behind the Forza Horizon series. With a new team behind it, the next major game in the series will be something of a fresh start. Been more than a decade since the last Core Fable series entry, and the next game will be more of a return to the epic scale of the original trilogy. Do you have any care? Nothing about Fable? Like never. Yeah. So like, I never really got into it. I had to play a bunch and watch people play a bunch because, so I had one friend in high school who was an Xbox person. Everyone else, of course, in my friendship group, PlayStation, including myself, right? PlayStation. We all had like Nintendo stuff as well, but it was like PlayStation. Then you had one guy who was like, I've got an Xbox. And we're all like, cool. Dude, like, No. Anyway, but so anytime I went to his house, he was always playing Fable, Halo, and all this sort of stuff. So, like, I have like some level of I never fell in love with it, but I always kind of wished I had them on PlayStation to a degree because they look sort of fun, but not enough to make me nag anyone to buy me an Xbox. But I'm all about this return, I would say, because as much as you could be like, yeah, but Dylan, we've got like Elder Scrolls coming, maybe we've got that other Elder Scrolls wannabe from fucking people we mentioned before. What's they called? The ones who did Outer Worlds. And yeah, Obsidian. We've got that one coming.
Avowed, yeah.
But Fable's different. Fable is for a start, if it's keeping to its roots, it's a third person series that, like, at least in the first few, you went from child to adult, and like there's a lot in that series that makes it stand apart to all these other entries. What would your ranking be for it?
2 down, I think. Not interested. I'll tell you what, after this year, I'm not so keen on a studio who has never done like a certain genre. Completely switching genres,
Yeah. Look, don't let one bag egg ruin the bunch, you know what I'm saying? I get one up. I have one up. One.
You just got to be cautious from now on.
From cars to RPGs, it's fine. I think they've done other stuff maybe. Far Cry 6, March 2021. PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox X Series X, XS, XSSS. Far Cry series, this one, Far Cry 6, is set in the fictional island country of Yara on the brink of revolution to overthrowing menacing dictator Anton Castillo, portrayed by Giancarlo Esposito. Unlike previous entries that hinged on a fish out of water, Far Cry 6 has you play as a native of Yara who must work with the rebels to dismantle the Castillo regime. The game was initially planned for a February 21 release date, but it's been pushed back to March. Still, Far Cry 6 is one of the first AAA games of the new year, and it'll be exciting to see how much improved from the last game it'll be. How are you feeling about Far Cry 6?
Yeah, it's not for me.
I'm going to go one up, one down. I haven't played a Far Cry since... No, hold on. Far Cry 4, I think. But I didn't even finish that one, so maybe that doesn't count. So it's been a while. But I might be tempted by this solely because, as they do mention, it's the first big AAA game of the year, and like maybe I'll just be lured in because it's not much out at the time or something. So maybe this could be a thing. Whereas other Far Cries have come out either at the end of the year when there's a bunch of other stuff and I'm like, yeah, I don't care. Or I think the last one came out at the start, but against other stuff I did care about. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Also, the last one was a spin-off of 5 or whatever, where you played as the twins or something like that. I don't know. I do have sitting around here somewhere. I brought Far Cry Primal at some stage for $10. I was like, maybe this is the one I could get into. Fucking hunting mammoths and shit, because that was fucking cool. All about that. Never got around to playing it, but it's...
I feel like maybe we'll hit peak Giancarlo Esposito.
Look, you say that now. There's someone who's watched Breaking Bad and now has watched him in every year since Breaking Bad just do Gus from Breaking Bad in a different show or movie. Not sick of it yet. Well, it's still fine by me. Final Fantasy 16. One of the biggest to be determined 2021 PS5. One of the biggest surprise reveals of 2020 was Final Fantasy 16 coming to PS5 as a console exclusive. This next game in the long-running RPG series is developed by the same team behind the popular MMORPG Final Fantasy 14. Given its surprisingly gruesome and melancholic debut trailer, it seems Final Fantasy 16's main plot will venture into dark territory that the franchise seldom sees. Coming off the heels of a fantastic Final Fantasy 7 remake, having another fully fledged game in the series is an exciting prospect. Would you be looking forward to playing Final Fantasy 16, Ash?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. I feel like this has got to be the one that. Well, I really enjoyed 7 Remake, so I feel like this one will be. It'll be similar enough that hopefully it brings me in, like more of a fantasy setting. Maybe I'll play Final Fantasy 15.
You got it.
Probably not.
You
Probably
got
not.
it if you want it. It's on the
Yeah.
PlayStation Plus collection. Yeah, because 7 Remake that was your first, right?
Yes. Well, I played a little bit of bits and pieces of Final Fantasies, like maybe like an hour or 2 here and there.
Yeah. You played Kingdom Hearts.
Yes.
Yeah, but never played Final Fantasy.
So that's pretty much the same, right?
It's funny. It's funny. Because most people who played Kingdom Hearts would probably know more about Final Fantasy than Disney, I swear, but like it was it's fine. What'd you rank it? What do you rank it as?
No, 2 thumbs up.
Yeah, I'm 2 thumbs up as well. I'm probably always going to rank a new Final Fantasy as double thumbs up. I'll be honest. I'm a sucker for Final Fantasy. Obviously, one of the key franchises of a lot of people's childhood, not just mine. But even though I didn't love 7 Remake as much as everyone else, what did I give it, like an 8? Outrageous, an 8. How fucking dare you? All about this one. I'm really interested to see how. Yeah, like giving the team that does the MMO RPG the reins of the single player one. It's an interesting twist of events. I'm keen to find out more. Untitled God of War sequel to be determined. 2021 PS5. 2018's God of War was a new beginning for the series, and in 2 years since its release, the game has stood as one of PS4's crowning achievements. During the June PS5 reveal stream, Sony revealed a quick tease for the sequel, which closed out with a message stating that Ragnarok is coming, along with a 2021 release date. Though it's since been referred to as God of War Ragnarok by fans and press, the game does not have an official title yet. The term Ragnarok was heavily referenced throughout the previous game, meaning the Norse World's End days, given that the ending of God of War showed off Thor's brief appearance, the sequel will likely be upping the stakes in some extraordinary ways, which will be no small feat. A, do you actually think this is coming out in 2021? And B, what's your ranking?
Yeah, I think it does. I don't think they would have put a 2021 date on it if it wasn't coming out in 2021. I'll give it 2 thumbs up. It's a great game.
Double thumbs up. I agree. I feel like there's a lot of contention about the release date, but I'm choosing to believe that Sony would not have said 2021 if they didn't actually think they could push this out in 2021. I just would find it very weird. There's absolutely no reason for them to say 2021 unless they meant it. They already had enough anyway. You know what I mean? Like between Horizon and Ratchet and Clank and whatever the fuck else. Like it's not like they needed to tease it to make people feel like they were buying a PS5 and getting their money's worth in the next year. Like there was already games coming. Gotham Knights.
Yeah.
To be determined 2021, PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series XS. The next Batman game coming from Warner Bros. Montreal moves away from the Batman Arkham games storyline for something new. In Gotham Knights, you play as the remaining defenders of Gotham City, Batgirl, Robin, Nightwing, and Red Hood. After the apparent death of Batman, while it takes some gameplay cues from the Batman Arkham series, Gotham Knights moves closer to the realm of an action RPG, focusing on building up your crew of crime fighters and decking them out with new gear. While on the surface, it looks like it's moving into the same Destiny-like territory as Marvel's Avengers, the core gameplay is still rooted in the classic Arkham-style gameplay with more of a focus on co-op play. What's your ranking for this one?
2 thumbs up. Very keen. More Batman universe stuff, please.
Yeah. I'm double thumbs up as well. I like all the Batman games, even the ones that, like, I think Origins is meh.
I really should play Origins. That's meant to be like a Christmas game,
It is actually
right?
a Christmas game. It is.
Tossing up whether I should play before
I mean,
Christmas.
I think Origins is like fine, but I like even that it's like I'd probably rank that at the bottom of my list personally, but even that, and even with all the complaints about people have about Arkham Knight, I'm still like, but it feels so good to play as Batman. Like, I don't care. So yeah, I haven't had any wrongs so far. So I'm all about this. And as for the teasers of this like Destiny-like stuff, I don't think it's trying to be Marvel's Avengers. I just think it's to me, and maybe I'm wrong, we'll find out soon enough. I just thought, like, it's so funny to me that we see a RPG / potential like gear-based system, and then everyone jumps to, oh, it's like Destiny-like. But why can't we be like, oh, like it's Borderlands-like? You know what I mean? Like, why can't this be the Borderlands equivalent of a Batman game where you can play in co-op and it's an RPG system, but everyone assumes it has to be Destiny or The Division or, you know, it doesn't have to be games of service.
Yeah.
It could just be like a co-op RPG without games of service stuff. I don't know. Gran Turismo 7, to be determined in 2021 PS5. The Gran Turismo series still stands as Sony's most... The Gran Turismo series still stands as one of Sony's more iconic PlayStation franchises, from its earliest release on the PS1 to the release of GT6 on PS4. The sim racing franchise appealed to gearheads and casual racing fans alike. The series has made a name for itself by offering realistic vehicle performance, high-end customization, and numerous tracks on which to take each of its vast selection of cars for a spin. The Gran Turismo series is widely regarded as a gold standard for sim racing, and with Gran Turismo 7 planned for a 2021 release, we're anxiously awaiting more details on it. Gran Turismo 7?
One up, one down, you know. I'm not desperate for a racing car game, but, you know, I'm feeling it's going to be super pretty. Yeah. So
I'll mark one down. I love Gran Turismo. I think it was 2 was the one I played a fuck out of on PS1. Other than that, I haven't really cared for the franchise, but I feel like between Platinum Explosion and one PlayStation podcast and Oceanians, and B, it looking really pretty and just wanting that to have something pretty from my PS5, somewhere amongst all of that, I'll just want to get it. And I feel, I feel I have to get it. So, yeah. Halo Infinite, to be determined, 2021, Xbox Series XS, Xbox One. I don't think I'll need to read all this. Let me put this. Here's my Halo thing. So obviously I'm up to Halo 2. Didn't get very far in my in my attempt to play all the games before the release of Halo Infinite, but luckily they delayed the game, so I've got enough time to go back to try and play through the rest of the Halo games. From what I've played so far of the first game and a half of Halo, not blown away. Obviously those games are quite old, but we'll see how things continue down the train. From what they showed in that gameplay trailer that everyone made fun of, nothing in there made me super excited either. But let me put it this way. I know everyone loves Halo, and I want to be excited by it. So for that reason, I'm going to land on a one up, one down. Like, I'm not excited, but I want to be, if that makes sense. Like, I'm just waiting to be excited because I want to be there with everyone and be like, yes, I've played all the Halos. I understand the story now. It's great. I want to be there. So I'm one up, one down.
Yeah, I'll do one up, one down as well because, those Xbox people, they deserve something.
They need one win,
Need one win next year.
Hitman 3. January 20th, 2021. PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox XS. So this is the earliest, the closest release we have come out. The earliest thing we'll probably be playing. The first new game you may be buying in 2021 for most people. The recent games in the Hitman franchise have been expanding the scope of Agent 47's campaign to take down the world's worst villains and operatives who have a checkered past. With Hitman 3, IO Interactive continues the evolving games and service approach by presenting the current Hitman's trilogy most complete experience. Launching on January 20th, 2021, Hitman 3 not only allows players who own Hitman 1 and 2 to import their maps into the third game, adding new gameplay innovations and visual upgrades to past levels, but also includes total virtual reality support for every mission, a first for the series, at launch next year, Hitman 3 will already be the most comprehensive game of the series and will continue to grow from there with new updates and levels. I'm at a 1 up, 1 down. I'll give them a double thumbs up the second they announce it has a platinum. The last two, no platinum, Ash. No platinum. Disgusting.
Ooh.
Absolutely disgusting.
Why are we even talking about it?
I know. What's your ranking? Do you care for Hitman?
Hitman, 1 up, 1 down, you know. Hopefully it's successful. Yeah, but it's not a game for me.
Then we got here Horizon Forbidden West to be determined 2021 PS4, PS5. I don't feel like it. Look, it's Horizon. We're all excited for Horizon, right? Question.
Yeah,
2 thumbs up. Is it actually coming out 2021?
Yes.
Yeah.
Out of this and God of War, this is the more likely one, obviously.
Yeah, super excited for
this one we've actually seen gameplay for.
Hey.
And they've confirmed it's going to be playable on PS4.
Yeah, so I feel like...
How well is it going to run on PS4?
Well, until they're like, we decided to cancel the PS4 version because we saw how Cyberpunk
because
was
we don't want to... We're like...
We didn't want to deal with that shit. Yeah. Excited for Horizon, of course. Hogwarts Legacy 2 to be determined 2021 PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox XS. We still really don't know much about this. They've shown off that one trailer, but they haven't gone into big detail about like do you fully create your own wizard? Like is there like a school structure? Is it running on a term? You know what I mean? Like some of those old Harry Potter games, you would literally run through the entire school year and have to do tests at certain points and stuff. Like, is that how this game's running, or is it just kind of running on an imaginary clock? Like, what's the go? What are we doing in this game? But nonetheless, it's a third-person game set in the wizarding world, set like during 1930s or 20s or something like that, I think is what they said, something along those lines. Oh, late 1990s. It says. No, hold on. That's just when Harry Potter came out. Never mind.
That's when the series went. Yeah. I believe it's before the books.
Way before the books, I think is the thing.
From memory. Well before the books.
What's your ranking?
1 up, 1 down until we see more. You know. And we'll see how the discourse is at once the game comes out.
I'm double thumbs down at the moment. Because of the discourse, I feel, but that's Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 to be determined in 2021 Nintendo Switch. It's been 3 years since the launch of Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and it's still a regular topic in the discourse of open world games. It represented a breakthrough for the Zelda franchise that not only turned the series into a proper open world game, but managed to inspire other imitators that sought to blend its inspired immersive sim-style gameplay with the spirit of adventure. So, we don't really know much about it. There was a trailer. It shows Ganon's come back or some shit. Go off, go crazy. Zelda's there. I guess both characters will be in it. Zelda, Link, working together, save the day. Who knows? Crazy things could happen. I never actually finished Breath of the Wild. Please don't take my gamer card. Great. Don't. I'm still a gamer.
It's already gone.
I'm still a gamer. Please don't let. No, please no.
That's all right. I haven't played it, so.
Well, yeah. What are you? Double down? Double 1 up, down, double?
Yeah, 1 up, 1 down, but I don't think it's coming out next year.
Oh, hot take. I'm 1 up, 1 down. I think it's coming out next year because Nintendo has nothing, so I feel like I have to believe. And if I don't believe,
listen, they'll bring out Mario
Bayonetta 3. That's right, Ash. Why isn't that on this list?
Maybe that's the game. Maybe that's the big holiday game for 2021.
GameSpot, pieces of shit. Don't even know what they're doing.
They'll bring out Mario 36th anniversary
edition. That's not a real thing. That's not a real thing.
Well, 35 is not
yes,
a real thing.
Yes, it is. Oh, don't know. New Mass Effect. There's new Mass Effect coming. It's a thing. Yep, that's a game. I'm skipping this one. Fuck.
No, yeah, that's not coming.
Ratchet and Clank.
That's not coming.
Ratchet and Clank.
That's no time soon.
No. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. To be determined.
Yes.
Wait, Mass Effect? Yeah, I was going to skip it. I didn't. Disgusting. It's even on this list.
Ratchet and Clank. Ratchet and Clank is
Ratchet
2
and Clank
thumbs up.
Is double thumbs up.
Just straight 2 thumbs up.
PS5, of course. Ratchet and Clank. It's the interdimensional traveling. There's a female Lombax or whatever now. Apparently, who knows what's happening? Crazy things are happening. Looks fun. Looks very pretty. There's ray tracing on Clank's head. Ray trace reflections on his shiny little helmet head. Love to see it. This looks very fun looking. Probably one of my most anticipated games, I feel. Top 5 easily of the year. I feel like if I was only going to pick one AAA game to be excited about for 2021 at this stage, I'd probably pick Ratchet & Clank, to be honest. I feel like a lot of that comes down to having watched gameplay of it and going, yes, it's been however many years since the remake. It was like 2016 or something, I think. Something like that, probably. It's been a while since that remake. And I would like to play a Ratchet & Clank game again because I had a lot of fun playing that one. It's been a while. Real excited. Yes, please. I want it. Give it to me. Resident Evil 8 Village. To be determined 2021. PC, PS5, Xbox XES. You don't care. I'm up, one down because I still haven't got around to playing 7. So I'm at 1 up, 1 down because this 1 up represents me potentially, hopefully, I'll play through 7 during this break. And then if I love it, I maybe get to a double thumbs up excitement. Or if I hate it, I'll be like, what the fuck was the internet talking about? Like,
yeah.
What, you have no idea. This is a bad game. No. Hopefully I like it, then I get excited about it. Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2. Follow-up to, of course, Senua's Sacrifice, Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice, the first game. Explosion Network's Game of the Year. 2017? Right? Is that right? Surely.
2018,
really?
I think.
Oh, yeah, that would make sense. Yeah, 2018. Yeah, that probably adds up. No, 2017. Man, been around a while. We're fucking old now. We're old in internet years. Damn shit. No, we love this game. Well, I mean, I don't think you played it, right? No,
I didn't play it. Yeah, sure, it's good though.
I've played it. Nick played it. Kieran played it. I think that was everyone that's played it. All of us that played it loved it. Explosion Network's Game of the Year, 2017. Really looking forward to a sequel. Don't know what the fuck it's about. I feel like I can't really say why it makes no sense as a sequel without spoiling the ending of the game. But I'm just hoping reasons will show themselves and I can be excited. All I know is that they've put out that one trailer at the Game Awards last year and it had that crazy fucking music that was playing in it. And I was like, what the fuck is this? And now I have it on Spotify. I don't even know what it's called. But if you ever want to like close your eyes and feel like you're in a dark place, go find that song. And the last game on the list, Starfield. No.
It's not coming out next year. How can you put Starfield and Elder Scrolls on the same list?
No. They're
just trying to hedge their bets.
They're fucking around. Yeah.
Neither game is coming out 2020.
No, disgusting. So I would give Starfield a double thumbs down excitement because the only reason anyone's excited about it is because it's a Bethesda game. Other than that, don't know anything about it. No reason to be excited. Don't really care. Is there anything that comes to your mind that wasn't on that list, though, that you'd be excited about?
No, I think they covered most of it. Just pull up this list that I had before. No, like Returnal would be interesting, I guess. Persona Strikers. Finally coming. Should have been out a year ago. That's the thing.
Isn't that out January?
February.
It's
still wait.
What?
Yeah.
My answer is a bunch of indie stuff that I can't remember the name of. that may or may not come out because indie stuff, but I'm excited for that.
May or may not come out, yeah.
Yeah. Including Fist. Forged in Shadow Torch, baby.
What was it? Goodbye Volcano High.
Yeah, Goodbye Volcano High. Yeah, all that stuff. All about that. I guess the only other thing they didn't have on there I'd be excited about.
The Kenner.
Yeah, Kenner. Fuck yeah. Also, shout outs. I do want that Microsoft Flight Simulator to come to Series X because I'm excited to go back to that game, and I'm really holding out hopes that the console version just be easier for me to get into. So
apparently there's 4 different Vampire the Masquerade games coming out.
Yeah, so year. There's a bunch of there's Bloodlines 2, and then there's the reading ones.
Yeah, there's Out for Blood, Parliament of Gnomes, and Swan Song. And apparently Shark Mob, I don't know who they are, but they're working on a Battle Royale one.
I think I remember calling it. But that's no different. There's like several werewolves games coming out. Like there's a third person action brawler one. There's a VR one. There's the reading ones. What do you want to call those? The book ones. So that what's that universe called? The Darkness universe or something. Like they're all part of the same tabletop
World of Darkness.
See, yeah, there you go. It's taken off. It's about to take off. Oh, look, here's my hot take for Bloodlines. I was kind of disappointed that was delayed, to be honest. I thought it looked very cool. I was ready to get into that. I never played the first one. I watched that trailer for the second one where they, it's got the song and the dancing and all that sort of stuff. I was like, this looks cool. I want to play this. I look on Twitter, internet's going, why is this in the Xbox Series X event? This doesn't look next gen. And I went, it didn't look next gen, but I didn't give a fuck. I still wanted to play it. Like, if you take the next gen part of out of the equation, I was like, no, this game looks fun. I'm all about it. People are like, this game doesn't look next gen. Then Scarlet Nexus shows up and they go, that's the one. Doesn't look next gen either. It just looks like another fucking anime game, but sure. Look, not to shit on Scarlet Nexus because Scarlet Nexus looks pretty cool too, but my point being, nerds are pick a pedal bottom. Nerdy little pick a pedal bombs. Nerdy little pickers. Nerdy little pick a pot of bottoms. Hey, if you made this far in the show,
thank you very much for joining us.
Hey, if you made this far in the show, well done. Thank you very much for listening. And once again, next week's episode is our top.
I don't think we announced that,
right? I think I did.
No, you said in a couple of weeks we'll take 2 weeks off. Next week.
Yeah, so next week's final episode before we take a couple of weeks off, and the subject of next week's episode will be our top 10 personal favorite games.
Is it though? Is it just our best games? Our personal
best games of 2020. So I'll lay out the change in the rules now for people so you can get excited, right? Instead of doing what we've done previous years, where it's like, oh, it's the same rules as the Explosion Network best of list. This year, I've said you can pick however many you want.
Fuck it.
So 5, 15, whatever. I actually think I have 15 on my list at the moment. I may try and get it down to 10 if I want. If I don't want to, fine, whatever, doesn't matter. But the other thing was you're allowed to include games that weren't from this year. You're allowed to include games that you played for the first time this year that didn't release this year. So it's just your favorite games of 2020 doesn't mean they had to have released in 2020. There. So it'll feel like different because that episode will come out next Monday, of course. This episode comes out on the 28th of the 12th. And then a week from this episode, the last episode for the year, quite a short year, And then on the Friday, you'll have the Explosion Network's Top 10 official Explosion Network Top 10 Games of 2020 awards. So look forward to all of that. Until then, we'll see you. Have a good time. Follow us on Twitters, explosionnetwork.com/Twitter. Find all the Twitters there. Let us know what you thought of the year. Mail explosionnetwork.com, subject line year 2020 /:. Yeah, it was all right.
Yeah. One COVID.
Until next week, same time, same couch. Final one of the business year. There you go, business year. See that one? Yeah. Yeah. See you then. Bye. Have fun. Bye.